Hi, Paulina. Welcome to my podcast. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're going to talk about Europe like we have had conversations before, and we're just gonna no scripts, no rehearsals, nothing, just straight on. And if we have any arguments or fights, yeah, so be it.
All right, let's do it.
I think it started from our conversation in the Toastmasters meeting when we had the club meeting and we were talking about Bratislava because I love Bratislava and you don't so much. So I thought we are gonna have a fight. Let's do it publicly on my
Yes,
podcast.
I mean, I can't say that I don't like Bratislava because I'm Slovak. I grew up in that area, so it's pretty much like it's very common for me to be in that capital of Slovakia. But when I was 14, I started studying at the grammar school in Austria, near Vienna,
Yeah.
and then I ended up spending almost 10 years of my life in Vienna and in the area. And it's pretty much something when you grow up in a very small area like Šamorín, it's very close to Bratislava, and then you explore the big world and see a much bigger city like Vienna
Yeah.
with its beauty and history.
Yeah.
And also when you speak the language, which is for me very fascinating because speaking German is something that I pretty much enjoy.
Yeah.
It's just all of these aspects click together and you just feel like fish in water. So I would say that's why I prefer and preferred living in Vienna when I was living there to Bratislava because it was something that I was already used to and nothing special, so to say. You know, you can't really appreciate the stuff when it's there
Yes.
in front of you. But then I started to appreciate it even more when I sometimes come back and visit my family and friends.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of see the hidden beauty of it again.
The hidden beauty of Bratislava.
Yes, yes. So I wouldn't say I don't like it, but it's just, yeah. The thing is that I preferred Vienna.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's this kind of similar thing with me in reverse because I grew up in New Delhi and New Delhi is like a big city. It's probably bigger than Vienna as well and very, very populated. And for me, to go to another city to see another different, like a metropolitan city, unless it's Paris, it seems like very redundant. And me and my friend, we went to Salzburg first and then came to Vienna. And Salzburg, we had a huge hotel room. In Vienna, it was like a closet. So that way, in a big city, you have those challenges. And Bratislava is a nicer, easier place, isn't it?
It is easier and also much more affordable compared to Vienna, for example.
Yeah.
And I would say in Vienna, it was still okay to find a nice place in the city center and quite affordable.
Okay.
But if you compare it to Bratislava,
Yeah.
there are some differences,
Yeah.
right? Especially when it comes to the price. But when you compare it to the UK, then it's a different kind of conversation because coming from Vienna to Oxford, where I currently live,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, the closet in Vienna was so big, like the room I live in right now.
Yeah.
And the price is totally different, much, much higher in Oxford than in Vienna.
Yes.
So, yeah, there are pros and cons to the living, yeah.
I found that Bratislava people were also nicer. Like Vienna is a city, so everybody minds their own business, whereas Bratislava people had more smiles to give to strangers even.
Yes, I would say in Slovakia in general, people are very open and honest
Yeah.
and very welcoming as well. Even though maybe not everyone speaks as well English as in Austria or as
Same.
here in
Yes.
the UK.
Yeah.
But they're very, very welcoming when someone comes because coming to Slovakia as a tourist is not as attractive as someone who would tell you, let's go to Paris or let's go to Italy because those are countries where people prefer to go for ski holiday or for summer holidays. But
That's right.
coming to Slovakia for a trip, it's a bit unconventional.
Yeah.
But once people visit the country, they're quite amazed because there's beautiful landscape, beautiful mountains for hiking.
Yes.
And the city center, I always recommend when someone tells me that they want to visit Bratislava, that they can stay for a couple of days and then kind of combine it with visiting Vienna, because
Okay.
Bratislava is so small
Yes.
that you're going to be kind of done within one day, because
Yeah.
you don't need more days to explore the tiny capital.
That's like a different character, right? So when you go to Paris, you are going to see 1,000 sites because there are so many to see there.
Yes.
But when you go to Bratislava, I would say I spent like a day there. Me and my friend, we only spent about a day,
Yeah.
and we liked it. We saw a few sites like a church. This is a nice gate, Peter's Gate, I think there was one. Went to the market, and then saw the theater, and then went to the UFO tower. So quite a few different things within those few hours. But if somebody was going to Bratislava, I would say go for a week, see only a day's worth of things in that week, but just chill as much as you can.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a very chill place. You can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sit somewhere and watch the world and drink a coffee
That's true. And
and talk to,
also
yeah,
drink cheap alcohol. That's also something that's very affordable.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, when it comes to the city, you only need one day to explore the memorials and nice things, right? But
Yeah.
when it comes to exploring the country, then I would maybe also recommend 1 week. And even if someone likes hiking,
yeah.
and the little villages and the little
All
towns in the
right.
center of
Yeah.
Slovakia, they're beautiful
Yeah.
and a bit underrated, I would say.
I would say that
Yeah.
Bratislava is very underrated, and as you said, it's an unconventional because not a lot of people know about this. As to
Yeah.
this is a nice place to go to. It's very affordable, and people are nice.
That's true.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it always matters if people are nice, then you kind of, even if you don't fit in. This is one of my, I would say, not tests, but it's kind of my criterion to judge a place now, evaluate a place. Let's say Toastmasters language. Don't judge people, but to evaluate how nice that place was or how nice the vacation was, it depends on if they don't speak English. Then how do they deal with that problem? Because it's a problem of communication. Like if I speak a language, you speak a different language, we don't have a common language between us. How do they deal with it? And for example, if you go to Germany, I can tell you a story. Like there was one time I was going to get a cell phone, and I waited about 20 minutes in the queue to get to that clerk,
Okay.
ask about something about a SIM card. And I asked him, do you speak English? He said, nope. And that was it.
Oh.
So it's like, don't even try. Whereas when I went to Albania, people do try a lot to understand you with gestures, with sign language, with pointing things. And also, if nothing works, they will grab somebody from the side who does speak English. And multiple times it happened that somebody called somebody on the phone and then gave you the phone and said, like, talk to them, they'll explain.
Yeah.
So they try a lot harder than, for example, a German person or a French person.
I mean, this might be just a personal opinion, because I mean, German and French are languages that more people at least try to learn, whereas
Slovak
who
nowadays.
who wants to learn Slovak language, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't use it somewhere else besides the country.
Yeah.
Because it's a very small country,
Yeah.
and the language is also very difficult.
Yeah.
So we are aware that
Okay.
we need to learn
Yeah.
different languages, at least English.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Albania as well. Albanian language is very hard to learn. Very, very hard to learn. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But it's true that we try, and
Yeah.
there are some tourists, and also more people start to come from Austria because of theater or opera, and the prices are
Okay.
very different, because if you would want to buy a ticket to see an opera in Austria, it would be around 200 euros, whereas in Slovakia you can get a ticket for about 20 pounds or 20 euros, right?
Wow.
And you would still get a beautiful view, and you would have a beautiful cultural experience.
Yeah.
And that's where more people come to Bratislava, for example.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say it got much better with having the language skill set
Yeah.
of staff, but there are still some some problems, and I would say they try either combined Denglish, which is a combination of German and English,
Okay.
because I would say most of the staff, they speak more German than English
Okay.
because of the closeness of two
Yes.
countries,
Yeah.
Slovakia and
Neighbors.
Austria.
Yeah.
But yeah, English is a must nowadays. I would
It's
say.
becoming
Yeah.
more and more.
Yeah.
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 This is one of the things that I have a recurring argument with a friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's Indian, and then whenever we go someplace, like when we went to Rome, she's like, they should know English because they have so many tourists coming. I said, so many tourists come to India from France, from Germany. How much German do you know? So,
Yes.
so it depends on the attitude of the people and also how much money they're getting from that tourism. And how easy it is for them to learn your language than vice versa. So Italian is a nice language that lots of people like to learn.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm just wondering, when I studied the grammar school in Slovakia, we
Yeah.
had German and English,
Okay.
and I had quite good grades,
Yeah.
and that's why it gave me confidence how
Yes.
well I can speak German and
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
But then at the age of 14, as I mentioned before, when I started commuting to Austria for the
Yeah.
grammar school, I thought with all of these good grades, I must understand and I must
Yeah.
know the language very well.
Was it not?
Within the first week of spending my time with other Austrians
Yeah.
at the grammar school, I felt totally lost. I didn't understand so much.
Oh wow.
I mean, I could just say the basics,
Yeah.
like greeting someone or telling them what my name is, where I come from.
Okay.
But I didn't really understand the subjects, chemistry, physics,
Okay. Yes.
maths.
Yeah.
All of this was a nightmare at the
They're a
beginning.
bit different level, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So I ended up having 4 German lessons, 4 hours of German lessons
Okay.
per week,
Okay.
so that I can at least understand
Yeah. Yeah.
what they teach me. And only after half a year of having these intense German lessons,
Yeah.
I was able to get some grades, because
Okay.
before that, it wasn't even good enough to get grade 5, which is the worst grade in Austria.
Wow.
Exactly. So it was just in the column for grades, it said nicht beurteilt, which means it's not graded, because it's not even worth a grade yet.
Oh my God.
So that's how bad my German was, even though I had always the best grades in Slovakia
Okay.
when it comes to German and the languages.
Yeah.
Even though we have compulsory education when it comes to languages,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you speak the language and you understand.
Yeah. School language is different, and when you try to do something different, something completely different in that language,
Yes.
then you have to be like a
It's
native.
yeah, it's another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're learning something like chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, do you recommend people to go to Bratislava for opera, and what other kind of things?
Definitely. I would say the level and the quality of opera and also actors,
Okay.
it's just very, very good.
Nice.
I always enjoy spending my time in Slovakia when I have some cultural program. Last Sylvester, New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
we spent with my partner at the Slovak National Theatre
Okay.
watching an opera. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. It
Nice.
was a program for 3.5 hours, and
Okay.
my parents told me, you must be crazy to spend 3.5 hours sitting at the National Theatre during New Year's Eve.
All right.
But
yeah.
when it ended after 3.5 hours, we just looked at each other with my partner and thought, why is it already the end? Because we wanted to continue watching it. It was so good.
What language was it in?
It was. Now I'm trying to remember. Fledermaus would be the name in
Okay.
German of the opera.
Yeah.
I believe it was in Slovak.
Okay.
I believe it was in Slovak.
But they have more. They have both Slovak and German operas there.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. But you always have the subtitles,
Okay.
so you can follow. Sometimes it's Italian.
Okay. Subtitles on the stage. How do you see subtitles?
No. I mean, you can see that because the actors play on the stage, and then above the stage there is a digitalized screen,
All right.
and
Okay.
the captions are there, so you can
Cool.
easily see that.
Technology.
Then, yeah, exactly. And sometimes in front of you there are seats with those tablets, and you can select which language you want to follow the captions in.
Oh,
So
wow.
it can be in English, German, French.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not
Nice.
in every single
Yeah.
theater.
I was
like
gonna
that.
say I will go when they start in Hindi
Oh wow,
subtitles.
okay.
Then I'll
Not sure
go.
about that. I have I never selected Hindi subtitles
Not
while
gonna happen anytime
while
soon.
watching an opera. No.
Yeah.
But I would say visiting Bratislava, more and more people from Austria come to Bratislava exactly for this purpose.
But do they know Slovak or do they just come for German ones?
No, I mean they come to see the opera in original,
Yeah.
but you get to see the
Just the
subtitles,
subtitles.
so that you
Okay.
can follow it in your own language.
And these are like local people who live in Vienna as well, and they
Yeah.
come to Bratislava for opera.
I mean,
Okay.
from the accent I could hear during the opera performance,
Okay.
I could see, okay, these are from Vienna.
These are people from
Definitely,
Vienna.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What are people called? Slovakian people, are they called Slovaks?
Yes,
Okay, so the language is Slovak and the people are also Slovaks.
yes.
And Bratislavans, are they called Bratislavans?
I mean, I never used this term in English because people abroad don't differentiate Slovaks based on the cities
Yeah.
they live in. But
Okay.
in Slovakia, if I speak Slovak, we would differentiate it like Bratislavčan, Košičan,
Okay.
based on the city the people come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bratislavčan, okay. That's
Bratislavčan.
one, yeah, like
someone who lives and comes from Bratislava.
yeah, like German people are called Deutsche.
Oh.
Deutsche,
Deu-
like with an ER in the end, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a German person.
Yes.
Yeah, and Deutsche is the language, which without the R, that's the
Yes.
German, yeah.
Yes.
So obviously you know that because you've done so much German.
Yes. Yes.
I was testing you.
Yeah. Okay.
No. When I was there, I just learned like 4 words of Slovak when I was there, and those 4 words were so useful to me. And
What are those words?
there was the Dobry rano. That's the
Yes, that's
good
very,
morning.
very good. Good morning. Yes.
Thank you. And we went to a little bakery shop there, and we wanted to get something. So we did lots of the conversation in English. There were these 2 ladies who were managing the shop, and so okay, this is this much, and they had good English, so they could explain. And then once they started making the coffee, then I said, okay, yakuyam. And the lady, she was so happy to hear that because she was like, oh, you speak Slovak. And then we were having the conversations, and she was explaining, the other lady was explaining to my friend, as to, okay, so PM kavu, it means like I'm drinking coffee, like that, yeah. Malta was never the destination. The destination was not even important. The purpose of the journey was to find an escape in the post-COVID world and breathe in the air, out in the open, look at the open spaces and talk to people you would never meet in the normal course of your life. And then I fell in love with Malta. My book, The Malta Moment, is available on Amazon Kindle and Smashwords. Links are in the show notes. Check it out.
So we were talking about the bakery,
Yes.
and the Bredano, and
So so then we were talking about that language, and then we took our stuff, and then we were going out. It was very cheap and very nice. They had these pastries which were like one was with spinach, and one was some cheese or potato, something like that. Very lovely.
probably Danish pastry.
Could be.
Yeah.
And I still remember the name of like Minute Bakery, MINIT, and
Oh, I know that. It's all over Slovakia.
it's like a franchise.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
I remember when I was little, and I always wanted to have some Danish pastry before I go to school, and
Okay.
I always asked my mom whether I can get some because she didn't want to allow me to eat it on a daily basis because it's not very healthy.
It's fried.
for a
It's fried.
child.
Yes.
But I always tried, and it was
Yeah.
on my way to school when I was still studying in Slovakia. So I remember that
Yeah.
Mint bakery. Yeah.
So they were very, very nice. And when we were leaving, I just like Dovidenia, and yeah, they were so happy. They were like almost jumping with joy. Yeah, if there was no counter, I think they would have just come and hugged me because they were so happy.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it applies to every Slovak person.
Okay.
Because the country is so small.
Yeah.
We always appreciate and are very surprised whenever someone knows at least some words in our
Alright,
language.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I mean, when I come to an English person and I tell them, "Oh, hey, I speak English," it's quite common because
No big deal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But given the size of the country and the complexity of the language, it's always a pleasure to just hear someone knowing some words.
Yes.
And especially when they get the pronunciation right, because it's not very easy.
I don't think so. They got me the first time, so I think it was
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was Yakuyam, Dobrirano, Dobridin. They're easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, French is much harder, pronunciation wise.
Okay, yeah. I get why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the written
It's
and the
very.
spoken is not. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And then we have also Hungarian, which is a totally different level.
I don't even try Hungarian that much because Hungarian is a very different
It
level.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But there's other, again, this is the attitude of the people. So if you speak in French to somebody who is French, especially in Paris, you would not get much appreciation unless you get it absolutely right, then it will get the job done. Whereas in Albania, in North Macedonia, in Slovakia, people just love that you try.
yeah.
And they make an effort to actually understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I invited Paulina for a chat about Europe, I was kind of worried that we might not have too much to talk about and we might have that problem which every broadcaster is terrified of, the awkward silence. But when she came over and we started talking about it, it became the problem in reverse, as in now I have a long conversation and I don't know what to cut out and what to leave in because it was all very interesting, it was all very relevant to the topic that we had. So I have decided that I'm going to break it into two parts. Use the first part of the conversation today, which we have just heard, and then rest of it I will share in the next episode next week. And that also has quite a lot of new interesting insights that you get from Paulina, which you could not have from me because she has so much more experience with Europe. So we'll wrap up today here and then I'll share the rest of the conversation in the next week. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that you don't miss the next future episodes. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I hope you're enjoying this new format with the video. And yes, I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.